A very good evening and a warm welcome to all the crypto buddies. I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar. I'm Rekha Khan, your host for the webinar, and we have with us Mr. Suhas Narasimhan, expert on blockchain, joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about the blockchain real life use case in agriculture sector. On joining, you would notice that you all are in mute. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please write them on the chat section. At the end of the webinar, we would be holding a Q&A session where all the queries of the participants would be answered by the speaker. From the creator of Odin, MCX and IEX, here is yet another credible and exchange-neutral platform a user can rely on while walking towards the path of crypto and blockchain understanding. Starting from education to knowledge to latest news, all covered under one super app. Crypto Wire. From a novice to a professional trader, every market participant can have a slice of information readily available on the touch of their fingers. Let me first walk you through the world's first crypto university, Crypto TV, and Crypto Wire services. We all know that crypto and blockchain ecosystem is emerging at an immense speed, and to keep a track of all the events, prices, and news looks to be difficult. So what if we have an app like our buddy who works with us, things like us, responds to what we expect? Yes, you heard it right, your own global crypto super app. Let me take you through the app briefly. Here is a global crypto super app, Crypto Wire. Let's start with the homepage of the app, which covers all the three pillars: Crypto University, Crypto TV, and Crypto Wire services. Under the Crypto Wire services, we have rolled out India's first global index of crypto, IC15, yet another feather in Crypto Wire's hat. It tracks the performance of the top 15 cryptocurrencies globally based on market capitalization. Crypto enthusiasts and crypto traders can take informed decisions based on IC15. Coming to WireWatch, in this section, we can monitor the best exchange to buy and the best exchange to sell a particular cryptocurrency. In center of the screen, we can also monitor the arbitrage opportunity available between the two exchanges for the same cryptocurrency. There are more than 350 plus cryptocurrencies listed on our platform, along with 70 plus crypto exchanges worldwide. Coming to Crypto TV, it's an exclusive 24/7 mobile IPTV covering everything on crypto and blockchain ecosystem. It is currently available in 4 different languages: English, Hindi, Gujarati, and Marathi. Talking about Crypto University, being the world's first digital university to offer courses on crypto and blockchain, you can find the best courses offered by MIT and University of Michigan at just one click. With this, I would like to introduce you all to our speaker for the day, Mr. Suhas Narasimhan. He is going to be introducing us to the topic today. Suhas Narasimhan heads the product and engineering at TraceX Technology. Suhas holds bachelor's degree from UVCE, Bangalore University, and he is an MBA from IIM Bangalore. He has over 12 years of experience across various roles in enterprises, software product, developing, and consultation. He has previously worked with MNCs like SAP Lab and Ernst & Young, leading the product management for SaaS and cloud-based digital transformation solution. Suhas is extremely passionate about building highly scalable technology solutions that can positively impact the living of the customers. Join me in welcoming Mr. Suhas. Hi, Suhas.
Hey, hi, Rekha.
Hi.
Thanks for having us on the webinar today.
Thank you. We're honored.
All right, thanks. Do I take it over from here?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. Okay. Good. Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen for us.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. Hey, hi all. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday evening. I hope the next few minutes that you spend, you actually take away something you get to learn. Thanks CryptoWire in particular for having us, TraceX, on this platform, and helping all your end users also get to know about what use cases of blockchain are in the space of agriculture, right? So I'm Zohar Simhan. I head the product and engineering at TraceX Technologies. We are a blockchain-powered digitization and traceability platform focusing on food and agri-value chains. Before we get started, I just want to take you through a quick video of how traceability can be consumed or is being consumed by end customers like you and me. Right. So this is an unboxing video that we got from one of the mothers who has, ordered infant food. Timios is one of our customers. They manufacture infant baby food that is consumed, and the manufacturing date is actually what they claim is less than the baby itself, right? The amount of days that it is on the market, right? But before we even get into the details of what TraceX does or what are the blockchain use cases, let's try to understand why we are even talking about clean, transparent, and traceable food ecosystem, right? Why do we need it, right? Let me talk about my own example. I have a 3-month-old baby, and when I ordered wet wipes for my son, I used to go by this brand which says 99% pure water, and it is highly safe, right? But little did I know when I got to read the ingredients that there are so many things that are hidden. The devil is in the detail, right? There are so many carcinogenic ingredients that I wasn't aware. What is the potential impact is that I've stopped buying it going forward, right? So customers nowadays are a lot more educated. They're a lot more conscious. I mean, when I was talking about baby wipes, think about what we eat, right? It's a lot more impactful to our body, to our health. And customers nowadays are a lot more conscious, and they want to understand what they are eating, where is it being sourced from, what are the constituents of the food that we're consuming, who is producing it, and especially after COVID-19 and so on, right? It's especially more prevalent in the minds of the consumers of what we are consuming, right? And recently I read a survey which talks about, consumers in Europe are spending a little more than a minute reading and analyzing the data that is there on the packaging of the produce that they consume right at the shelves of the retailers and supermarkets, right? This gives us a big insight into what we are heading into, what direction the market is going into, right? How conscious the consumers are about the food that they consume, not just what they wear or what they use, but I think what is more important is what we consume, right? So this is on one side of this spectrum where the consumers are expecting a lot more transparency, a lot more detail about the food that they consume. On the other side, we need to understand the producers, the manufacturers, right? Even if the manufacturers want to really provide this information, there's a lot of challenge, and I want to understand why it is difficult for the producers, for the manufacturers, for the brands to actually dish out this information that the customers want, right? So the whole problem is the supply chain, right? Especially in the food and agri space. If you look at the supply chain, it is extremely complicated. There are so many different participants in the supply chain that are actually part of this. Many of them are small farmers. There are intermediary agents. There is absolutely no digitization. They have never used anything beyond pen and paper, right? So especially for somebody, if you take if you are a coffee drinker, right? Right from procurement of the beans from the plantation, from a small farmer's estate, right from taking it into roastery, getting it manufactured into beans, that getting brewed into a hot coffee, right, that you're consuming. there are so many different players that are part of this whole ecosystem. And because there is lack of trust in the supply chain, there is no credible way to track and trace the whole journey of the produce. And it is so much more difficult to run this consistently, to be able to go through the supply chain on a credible basis, which actually eventually leads to a compromise in the quality of the food, the safety of the produce, and then and eventually the customer commitments cannot be met by these brands. So hence there is a hindrance that even if the manufacturers want to kind of be more transparent, it's extremely difficult, right? So that is what we are trying to target at TraceX. And I'm going to take you through the overview of the solution that we have, right? The whole point is, if we are able to bring this disparate set of players in the supply chain onto one single platform where they can communicate between each other on a credible, auditable, verifiable manner, then so much of a challenge that the end customer has in identifying what is the traceability of a produce that he's consuming will be able to resolve, right? So this is an overview of the solution that we are actually looking at, that we are offering, right? Or what we think can work for you and me, right? Farmers on one side of the spectrum, the consumer on the other side of the spectrum, right? And there are so many different players. In fact, this is just a subset of the number of participants in the whole value chain, right? I've just taken a handful of them. There are so many more that I can bring in. So if you talk about organic food that you're going to consume, right? You go to markets today, you read, organic food. How many of you actually think that, is it really organic? Is it worth paying twice the money that I would have had to pay for this tur dal or for this orange, which claims to be organic, and then you put it back and pick up something else which doesn't have the organic tag, right? This is not just me, it's you, everybody, unless we are sure that this is organic, unless I'm 100% satisfied that the information that the manufacturer is claiming, it's very difficult for me to make that extra payment of additional 10 rupees or whatever, right? So when I talk about the supply chain, we are talking about farmers, FPC, aggregators, processors, logistics vendors, right? These are intermediate buyers who actually procure from large farmers or from organizations, and then the distributors and retailers, right? If you're able to bring all of these people onto a single platform, and then they're able to interchange information on a verifiable manner, auditable, immutable data, right? Then it is so much more easy for anybody to trust the data that they are receiving, right? And even more, if I go further, if I'm able to add organic certifying agencies, soil certification agencies, we are already in the process of doing that in TraceX. But then what I'm saying is I'm generally giving a solution of how this works, right? So if you're able to bring in the certifying agencies also on the blockchain, if a farmer is saying that I'm producing organic or pesticide-free produce, and I'm able to also verify this claim with a certification from an organic certification agency, right? That's also available on the blockchain, right? It is so much more stress-free. I'm a lot more sold on that when I'm able to see that information when I'm buying that 1 kg packet of tur dal or whatever, right? So that's the idea of why we are looking at this solution with the way we have actually approached it. And blockchain network, what we use essentially is capturing all the different activities, right from what happens on the ground on a farmland, right from sowing the seed till what pesticides or what interventions that the farmer actually does, which location is this produce being grown, right? How does it travel through the value chain? Does it go to a warehouse? Does it get packed? Does it get cleaned? What ingredients are used to process it, right? And how does it change hands? What is the batches that get mixed, right? And at the end of the day, till it gets packed and shipped to the end user, right? We're able to capture every single detail onto a blockchain called Hyperledger Fabric. We are using it for our use cases, right? That is how we have envisioned this solution for our customers. And we'll also see the different use cases. This is this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are just scratching the surface of what we can do with blockchain and in the agriculture space, right? This is just a glimpse of how we envisioned and what we are doing currently. Right? Let me take you through the different value chains itself that we can target with this potential solution. Right? When I talk about the milk that you drink, right, today morning, many of you may be from Bangalore or Karnataka, you are getting your Nandini milk packets every day morning. You think or you believe that it is a fresh milk that you're getting, right? But these are the different steps that actually each packet of milk that you're getting at your doorstep actually has to go through, right? Right from the point a dairy farmer actually puts it into a collection agency, right? Where we are able to capture the milk data, right? It goes to the collection center, the bulk milk chiller, plant where it actually gets manufactured, or different products that are manufactured from the milk that is originally, procured from the farmer, right? Till the dairy, till the consumer, sorry, right? So many different data that can be captured, right? Each batch can be identified. Each milk packet can be traced back to the farmer, to the animal that actually may not be as detailed as that, but at least till the farmer, till the location, we are able to track back and when was the actual milk that was sourced, right? We're able to generate that kind of a blueprint of data and the transactions that it goes through, right? That is one. And then if you look at livestock, right? Again, so many things that actually go through if you're eating your chicken or whatever at KFC, but then what is it that it's going through, right? Right from what the chicken actually consumes, or I'm talking about livestock, it could be the poultry on the other side also, right? What do they eat? What water did it consume, the animal, right? What kind of veterinary services, medications that it has gone through, and then the middlemen that actually transport this from the farmers to the trading center, right? And then the actual slaughterhouse, which actually does the processing of the meat, right? And then finally consumers buying it off the shelf from supermarket, right? So many things that actually go through, and we don't even think about it many times, right? Similarly for a poultry value chain, right? I'm going to skip this because it's a little bit of a repetition there. Similarly for seafood, it gets captured in the seas, right? It comes to the consumer via so many different agents in between, right? It takes so many days. Many a times the fishes are actually in the sea for days together before they actually get shore, right? They come to the shore, it takes maybe 3 months sometimes. Such things are there. So we need to really understand what actually is happening behind the scenes, the food that I consume, the food that we actually give it to our children, right? We really need to understand sometimes what is actually happening, right? Similarly for seed value chain, the paddy that is used, grown for rice, right? Or the cotton that we wear, whatever, right? So there are so many things that happen behind the scenes. Before, and there are so many types of seeds that are, we can capture information on. What is the type of the seed? What is the type of biogenetics that it has, the impurity of the seed, right? And so on and so forth. All these can be captured at various levels and then can be provided in the end customers when they want. So essentially what we're looking at is from a TraceX point of view, we have value chain digital. And again, when I talk about all this, right, one thing that is common is the data, right? How do we capture data? And that is, without the data, there is no way we can trace or we can track back to any point in time, right? So the whole point is that we're able to not just track it on or trace it on blockchain, but also we are able to enable the different participants in the value chain with tools and technology that can help them record these activities, that can help them seamlessly capture information about the products of the produce at different stages. And that's where I'll take you through what we are offering as TraceX, the solution, right? And how we are able to get this done so effectively and efficiently, right? So again, the elephant in the room is the data that we are able to capture. Are we able to digitize the entire value chain? Is the farmer on the ground able to capture the information that you can see on when you buy your oranges or rice off the shelf, right? So without it getting captured, that's where what we have is an offline first multilingual mobile application that is available for the farmers to capture the on the ground information. We are also integrating with different technologies, different tools like IoT devices that are deployed on the farms. We are able to interact with satellite data. We have integrations with we are even planning integrations with drone based field sensing. So we are able to capture data from different aspects of the farming, right, at the ground level, right? And then we have apps for field assistants who actually help the farmers. There are many occasions where farmers are not literate enough to be able to capture information. So we work with B2B customers who have on the ground staff who work on behalf of farmers who are able to capture these data for the farmers. And then, like I said, we're able to capture data from different IoT devices to get the soil nutrient values, to get the moisture values. And then I said we are able to capture data from satellite data, right? We're able to capture the weather conditions and so on and so forth. And that gets integrated. This is where we are able to source the different data. And then, of course, we have web applications that we have provided to the various other participants, like I said, in the value chain, right? Be it the farmer groups, be it the research institutes who work with farmers, the agents, and then large buyers who also have their field staff, right? And then, of course, the processing agencies, the manufacturers, and finally the buyers, right? And even the partner institutions that we have, right? It could be certifying agencies like a Eurofin, or it could be a soil certifying agency. It could be quality testing agencies who actually do the testing for this poultry, for seeds, right? They're able to also communicate via our application. They're able to automatically put in data into the blockchain, right? We have enabled them to actually be able to participate in the whole ecosystem, right? And then the whole idea is that we are able to capture these information on a immutable ledger, which is of course which is called the TraceX blockchain network. It's a private permissioned blockchain that we have, right? Right. So what do we offer from, like I mentioned, right? What do we offer is essentially multi-use stage. One is, like I said, an offline first, a multilingual application, which is made available to all our field workers, farmers, right, who are able to actually capture the data that is required on the ground, on the farms, right, over the period of the harvest, right from the day of cultivation till the point it is actually harvested. That's how I think we are able to capture the information. So that is on the crop cultivation point of view. And then, like I said, we have, and then in the food processing or the manufacturing side of it, we have an application that is also mobile first, right, where we are able to capture the different activities that the produce goes through. All the different actors in the supply chain are able to update, provide information, and only when it moves from one actor to the other, every step, every action that is performed on the produce is captured at a batch level at the most trackable point that we have. And then that gets captured on the blockchain, and then it goes forward, right? And essentially the whole journey, we are able to, we have our own algorithms to actually track back the whole journey. And then we actually provide it in a very user consumable fashion, right? Which is essentially a journey of the produce, right from the take was sown, what were the activities that were done, who inspected it, any certifications that were provided, right? How did it transfer from one point to the other? Geolocation tag, blockchain ID, transaction ID is captured at each stage, right? You can view it on our mobile application. So that is what the product essentially does, right? We have some key metrics that I wanted to show you today. Is about, we are already capturing more than 11,000 plus farmers are on our platform. We have mapped about 9,000 plus hectares of land, and we are working with really large customers and 30 plus B2B customers. Some of them are MTR, Olam, Tata Alice, and so on and so forth, Telangana government, right? We have so many different customers right now, and it's actually growing as we speak. What I'll do next, I think I'll give us pause here, and then what I want to do is take you through some individual use cases. That's what we wanted to talk to, right? The blockchain, the real life use cases, the real life scenario of how blockchain is actually being consumed by some of these customers. I'm going to take you through some of them, and then maybe we'll pause for questions. So many of you may be eating your favorite burgers at McDonald's, and one of the most important ingredients in the McDonald's burger is your lettuce, right? I'm not sure how many of you know, but one of the producers is from Nilgiris. The beautiful hills of Nilgiris is where the iceberg lettuce gets manufactured, and the manufacturer, who is not manufacturer but one of the producers of iceberg lettuce, is Green Earth Fresh Produce, who happen to be our customers. They are able to track and trace their every lettuce crate of lettuce, right from the sapling that was sown till the point it is sold to Vista, who actually essentially sell it to McDonald's for their burger preparation, right? If you just look at this solution, right, it is in the fruits and vegetables value chain. We have 200 plus farmers in the Nilgiris, in the foothills of Nilgiris, who are actually producing iceberg lettuce, over 250 acres of land, right? Right from the point when Green Earth Fresh Produce actually distributes saplings to these farmers, right? They're able to capture the information from what batch of the sapling was distributed to the farmer, and then they have a package of practice that has been provided to each of these farmers, right? They need to do certain interventions, they need to add certain nutrients, they need to do certain activities, they need to water the plants, they need to provide certain pest control mechanisms. Everything is captured via agronomy advisory. They are given, as you can see in the image, farmers are actually able to use their mobile applications, feed in information on the ground on the days they are actually done certain activities. And then once the produce is actually harvested, we are able to track each crate from the produce that is manufactured, and that goes to Vista Foods in the crates, right? Then there are certain activities that is done at the Vista Food agency, where they actually do pre-cooling, right? Before that, they actually do pre-cooling. What are the kind of journey that the iceberg lettuce took, right? If you look at a simple journey of this fresh produce, right from the point, what variety of this produce, right? What batch number, when was this produced, what were the activities that were done, what is the pest management, what inputs went into it, right? Movento 320 ml, right? So these are things that you can actually go back to and see, right? Here, the use case is not that somebody at McDonald's is going to be scanning and going to check where my iceberg lettuce came from, right? But instead, this is for Vista, which is a primary producer, primary source of iceberg lettuce for McDonald's, right? They are able to track, they're able to maintain their level of produce that they're coming up with, right? They have a very high level of commitment to their customers, that they want to provide the most high quality food that they're able to provide to the customers. So they want to be able to track this at every single stage of their the inputs that they're using, right? And this is just one example of how they are able to manage the inputs, right? And any point in time they realize something goes wrong, they have absolute certainty, clarity of what batch of iceberg lettuce that went wrong. If something goes wrong when they procure it, right, or they see that there's high level of pesticide or whatever, right, they're able to go back to the individual farmer who actually gave this crate of lettuce, right, and they can take appropriate actions on that, right? So this is the power of the technology that we are providing our customers. Next example that I want to take is essentially another industry itself, which is the dairy industry, right? Like I was saying, you may be getting your Nandini packets or Amul milk packets, right? Do you know that when was this actually produced, right? Do you really know when was the milk that was manufactured or actually produced or was sourced from the cow, right? We actually have no idea, right? It is generally more than 5 days old, right, to reach your doorsteps, right? So there are so many different steps that are actually going through, and every step that we are able to capture information of the produce that the farmers are able to generate, right? Right at the dairy farmer level, who is the farmer, what timestamp was this captured, right? The quantity, and then what is the fat percentage in this milk? Then how did it move to a collection center? What batch is it? Then what is the processing that was done at the plant, right? Did it get converted into milk? Did it get converted into paneer, right? And then you're able to capture every piece of information. What temperature was the bulk milk chiller that got transported in, right? Did it get spoiled, right? More than for the customer at the end, it's also very important for somebody like KMF, Nandini, or Amul, right? To be able to track what is the produce, where is the journey of the produce, did it get spoiled at any point in time? And if one particular batch gets spoiled, it can actually, once they get mixed with the rest, right? The whole setup actually, and then a lot of their other batches will also get spoiled. So they're able to pinpoint individual items, individual batches, to be able to capture that information and also, reduce their losses, right? So there are so many different use cases that we're actually seeing, and everything being captured on blockchain is giving them immutable data. Nobody can actually tamper with it, and all the participants that are on this network are now trusted by each other, and there is absolute clarity and absolute certainty of this data that is getting interchanged, right? This is one of our other customers. You can actually see their mobile application. It is called Milk Mantra. They source their milk from Odisha and in Kolkata, and they are actually manufacturing 1.5 lakh liters of milk on a daily basis, and everything has a code that is traceable. Every 500 ml packet is also traceable, and they actually integrate it in their own mobile app, right? And you're able to see the journey of what they call Milky Moo, right? Shelf days of 3 days. They're able to claim exactly when was the milk sourced from the farmer, what are the steps that went into, and the day you're receiving the packet, you know exactly how many days old the milk that you're consuming, and what is the nutrition facts of the milk that you're actually drinking at your home, right? So these are the kind of use cases that we are seeing, and it's actually growing, and we are more the customers are actually conscious about this. We are also able to reach out to more value chains, and we're actually getting more angles to this. And this blockchain is enabling us to reach many different use cases, right? Here we are talking about Olam, which is another use case. Olam is one of the largest exporters of basmati rice from India. They send it across to Europe, UK, and other Middle East regions, right? For them, this whole project was about promoting sustainable rice cultivation. As you know, paddy and rice is a water-intensive produce, right? And they wanted to ensure that they produce residue-free, traceable, high-quality produce, high-quality paddy and rice. And also, at the end of the day, they should be able to make positive impact to the farmers that are actually producing it for them. And at the end of the day, that's the social impact. And then at the end of the day, they wanted to ensure that they are able to manufacture it in a sustainable way. At the end of the first project that we did with Olam, they were already able to reduce the water consumption by up to 30%, right? And that is a great impact on our sustainability goals. And we all want to go forward, especially when we talk about the carbon footprint and so on and so forth. Our applications are being consumed in so many different scenarios, right? And this is one such scenarios. Here we had different partners that joined us, right? TraceX, of course, being the digitization solution buyer, was one of the participants who provided the input nutrition, input pesticides, and so on and so forth. Then we have Netafim, which helped us with the water-related tracking of IoT sensors, and they were able to give us data of how much water was being consumed and so on and so forth, right? So it was a partnership with multiple groups, and then we were able to achieve sustainable, high-quality, traceable, residue-free basmati, which got exported outside of India. And next is this is a name that you all are aware of, MTR. We are also this was one of our first projects that we worked with MTR, where we are working with more than 1,000 farmers. It's a 5-year long contract, right? We're able to track production of aflatoxin-free chilies, which is from one of the regions in Karnataka, in the North Karnataka. We are able to capture this. right? You can actually, whenever you see the QR codes on the screen, you can actually scan them and you're able to actually see the journey of one of the batches of the produce that these companies are actually having, right? It's as simple as that. Again, we are able to work with so many different participants who are actually part of the supply chain here. I don't know, somehow the color is off, but I'm talking about buyers, NBFCs, input providers, government regulators, resource institutions, right? Farmers on one side. The way we are able to interact with so many different, only with the kind of network that we have built, it's actually only growing, and we're able to bring in onboard so many different participants that makes the data so much more trustable, so much more consumable for and trust. That is the whole point, right? Next one is actually also something similar, which is for one of our customers called Slay. It's a coffee producing company, coffee, right? Again, right from the point that the plantation was done, right? We are able to register the grower, the plantation mapping, the variety of the plant, sowing, harvest, right? Then this is where the beauty of blockchain comes into picture. Plantation happens in somewhere in, your hills of Coorg or, Arco Valley or so on and so forth, right? But then the curing works is somewhere else. The roastery is absolutely in a different region, and then the cafe that you're, where you're drinking your coffee or the coffee is actually being prepared is in your cities of Bangalore, Mumbai, and so on and so forth, right? So all these different participants are now able to interact on this platform, and they're able to provide so much details, right? From the plantation point of view, what is the grower profile, the plantation profile, right? Certifications, the quantity, and then when it gets shipped to a curing work, what batches did I get it from? Right? What kind of sorting, grading did I do? What kind of mixtures did I do? Right? Where was it stored? How long was it stored? Right? And I sold it to a roastery. The roastery then blends it, prepares roasted bean. That's what is actually finally made coffee from, right? And then the final roasted beans being grinded and brewed into a hot cappuccino, right? So many different players. Everybody is now able to capture their data with our application. And Slay, our customer, is also using something similar. They also, the beauty of this is that they are now able to reach out to their customers. They're able to provide what is relevant for the customer while hiding certain data, right? So maybe it's their business advantage. They don't want to give away the details of certain farmer where they're procuring the farm. But what is important for the customer that they sell it to is what they're able to put it out, right? And then, of course, but internally they have their information. They are able to track it up to the farmer level. They know if a batch of coffee is spoiled, they exactly know who did it come from and who actually did not follow certain package of practice that they had put in place and so on, right? That's the idea. And then again, one more is Timios, which I just showed you. It is a baby infant food production company. Again, they procure raw materials, and the entire thing is, especially when it comes to babies, when it comes to our own kids, right? What they consume, the parents are especially very concerned about the quality, right? We're able to trace that also. Another example is an export scenario where Nendran banana was getting exported from Kerala to UK and other parts of Europe. And this is one of the pilots that we did with the Kerala government. Again, you can scan the code. It will take you through the exact journey of this particular batch of banana. Every bunch of banana had a QR code attached to it. So people in UK, when they received it on the shelves, they were actually able to kind of trace the exact journey of this banana that started from some part in Kerala and reached the shores of UK, right? So that's how it's being consumed by exporters in the country. Again, like I said, seeds are also something like that. And right, this is being done for Telangana government, where we are actually able to track every batch of paddy that is going to the consumers. Right. So, like I said, we are reaching out to various different value chains. There is ready to eat food, eggs, coffee brands, dairy, fruits and vegetables, right? And then different spices like chili, cocoa, tea, everything we are able to actually capture and help trace different value chains. A little about the product itself. Like I said, we have a mobile application. We have dashboards that help make decisions and track every batch at every point in time. We're able to geolocate the produce, right? We're able to manage the farmers. Exactly, all the farmers are now onboarded for these large B2B customers. They're able to interact with their farmers. The farmers are able to interact with their agencies via the app. They can ask questions, right? We can manage all the activities of the plantation on the application. We can track if somebody deviated from the standard practices, did somebody go add some wrong intervention, and so on and so forth, and we can alert the companies. And then at the end of the day, we are able to sell it to the processing agencies. The farmer can directly sell it on the phone, right? He can sell it from the comfort of his home, and then that will be picked up by the processing agencies, and then the whole processing is captured on our platform, right? And then finally consumers can actually trace it via this simple scan of a QR code on their mobile phones, right? This is what I wanted to capture. And yeah, of course, also, like I said, internal provenance itself, right? All these big companies like Mondelez, who manufacture your Cadbury's, they want to know if they're able to track all their produce that comes into one batch of wrong cocoa or a milk that gets spoiled. The whole manufacturing is actually messed up, right? So they're able to identify in less than 5-10 seconds, and then that helps them in food safety. They're able to track and trace exactly what produce goes into the final manufacturing of their end products, right? So these are all the various different use cases, and everything is being powered by TraceX and our blockchain network underlying. And there are so many new use cases that we are actually thinking of as we speak. And just because we are on this beautiful platform, we are able to think of so many new use cases. We are able to think of bringing fintechs onto our platform. We are able to think of bringing NFT fungible tokens we are able to generate per farm, right? For whatever reasons, right? There are certain new use cases that we are able to come up with, right? And I think we are just scratching the surface, and it's I think we have a lot of potential, right? Yeah.
That was quite interesting to know and very informative session. Thank you, Suhas. I would now like to take the audience questions. There are a few questions that have come in. So I'll start with the first question. The first question that we have is, can adopting blockchain also be cost effective for Indian marginal farmers? So can farmers, yeah.
Right. So the idea is, yeah. So this is the first question that whenever we go to the company, this is the question: can this help us increase the income of a farmer by say 1,000 rupees? Right. That is the kind of question that everybody asks, right? And of course, the farmers themselves may not be able to invest in taking up such practices, right? So the whole onus is on the large B2B consumer producers like Olam, for that matter, GEFPs, who actually work with their customers, right, in producing, providing them the most high quality food or high quality produce that they are able to claim, right? If they are able to provide that traceability, if they are able to provide the genuineness in their produce, the customers are willing to pay that extra 5%, 10% on the produce, and that gets translated into a higher incomes for the farmers. Essentially, we have never gone to farmers and asked them to, adopt our technology, but it's generally the different players in the market, right?
Right. Got it. Thank you. Second question up is, how can we educate farmers more to use this technology? Are you doing something about it? And is there some way that you can educate farmers for this technology?
Yes, that's a very good question. I think we are tying up with a lot of different agencies. We are working with resource institutions. Resource institutions are NGOs which work with marginal farmers, which work with tribal farmers, right? We have so many different. We have tied up with Krishi Jagar, Krishi Mandal, right, and so on and so forth. And then there is trying to forget the name, but then we have Telangana government that we have tied up with, right? So there are so many different agencies that are actually working with farmers who are actually spreading this information, right? Helping them actually adopt the new technologies, get onboarded our platform, and then they're able to use this technology. And also recently we have now been, I'm happy to share that we are funded by NAB Ventures. NAB Ventures is essentially a arm of NABARD, who actually work with farmers, funding them, right?
Right, yeah.
Different agencies that they are tied up with. So we want to also use this opportunity to go through them, educate farmers to get on board.
Right, absolutely. Must be a tough task, no?
I mean, of course, yeah, but I think it is definitely something that they are very much keen on. I think farmers, once they get an idea of what benefits they are going to get, right? I think they are we have spoken to so many farmers. We actually we have shot some videos. We really know that they're able to now understand the applications. There are many of them who now understand using mobile applications, smartphones, right? We actually underestimated them a lot, but then I think there's so much more that they are able to kind of adopt in a very quick pace.
Right, yeah, obviously. It's good. It's good for them, actually. The more tech savvy and yeah.
The more tech savvy they get, the more data that we know.
Absolutely, very true. So the next question that we have, what are the prerequisites for using blockchain in Indian agricultural sector? Did you face any challenges in this?
I think there is no restriction or anything. I think even the government is actually promoting the use of technology, smart technologies, to ensure that we are able to help farmers, right? I think there's a lot of positive support that we are getting, even including, Niti Aayog we partnered with them to actually bring in the milk mantra. We have something called as Bharat Food Assure, right? It's it's a national level program that we have. And then we are working with government of Telangana, right? I think there is absolutely no hindrance, but I think the knowledge of blockchain and we need to explain them why do we need certain technologies or what is the benefit. I think there's a gap. I mean, not everybody understands blockchain really well. I think explaining them the benefits of using something like that is the biggest challenge, I think. But I think, but once they get the feel of it, I think we are able to onboard them.
Great. Yeah. Obviously, everything takes some time. Yeah. So I'm sure once, yeah.
Blockchain, right? Not even us, we many times don't understand it as well as we think we do. But especially when you want to explain it to a layman, to explain it to a farmer, right?
Absolutely,
I think that they trust. I think what is good about blockchain is it's synonymous with trust and transparency.
True.
And I think we need to ensure that the sanctity of that whole premise of blockchain is what we need to ensure that we don't put in junk data, right? It is our responsibility to ensure that we are the custodians of the data there, and only the authentic authorized data is available, right? That's the only thing.
Absolutely, very true. The last question that we have up is, how do you go about identifying and establishing the feasibility of the use case when you work with customers?
I think, feasibility, can you please rephrase that, or I'm not sure if I understood the question fully.
How do you go about identifying and establishing the feasibility of the use case when you're working with your customers? How do you make sure that you are able to identify and establish the use case?
Got it. Okay.
That particular.
Right. Understand. So see, the thing is, the primary point is that the customer is actually doing certain physical activity, right? There is a banana being grown, there's a plant being sown, right? So we need to first understand the process. We actually go through the entire process. This is one of our first steps that we do. Our product team does a full physical visit of the journey, the traceability, right from the point, the actual field where the seed is sown till the final processing. We actually visit. We have actually always done that for all our customers. We actually go through each step. We then see if we are able to map the physical activity on a digital platform, right? If we are not able to do that, I think the whole purpose of traceability is lost. So we are then able to provide them interventions. We are able to provide them platforms, tools where they can capture the relevant data, right? If you are going to a farmer, if you are tracing from the farmer, we are enabling the farmer. If the farmer is not educated, we then identify the resource institutions who can help them, right? They are able to do the work of the farmer. But otherwise, if you're doing it from a processing center, all the steps of the processing are captured on our platform, right? And then only when you're able to map it on a digital journey, the feasibility is analyzed, and then of course the commercials of getting it done, right? How much is the value add for the farmer? How much is it the value add for the customer who is actually purchasing such a solution? And then, of course, finally, it's
obviously anything needs to be analyzed first. So I'm sure you do a back-end check on what is the feasibility of the particular project, and then you scale it up or scale it down. Absolutely, I understood that. Great. I hope all the questions were answered. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Suhas for taking out time and sharing his views on today's topic. I would also like to thank all the wonderful audience who have shown interest in learning and making informed decisions before entering the crypto market. I would request all the crypto enthusiasts to download the CryptoWire app today and be a part of the global learning. We would request all of you all to please share your valuable feedbacks on today's session so that we can get the sessions much better in future. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. Thank you, Suhas. It was great interacting with you. Looking forward to many more sessions.
Thanks for providing us the opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.